Chapter 2. A New Beginning. Kaizen woke with a start, his eyes snapping open to an unfamiliar ceiling. The harsh, cold shadows of his previous life were gone instead. He found himself in a small, brightly lit room. The walls were a soft shade of cream, soothing and warm, a stark contrast to the darkness he had known. Morning sunlight filtered through a thin, white curtain, casting delicate patterns on the wooden floor. He lay on a simple futon, covered with a thin blanket that felt foreign against his skin. For a moment, disorientation gripped him. The last thing he remembered was the chaos of his final mission, the blinding pain of a crossbow bolt piercing his side, and then nothing. Now, he was here, in this new place, reborn. Sitting up, Kaizen took stock of his surroundings. The room was sparsely furnished, functional yet homely. To his left was a small wooden table, its surface bare except for a folded piece of paper and a stub of a pencil. Opposite the table stood a chest for clothes, its surface worn but clean. On the other side of the room, a shelf held a few children's books and toys, simple items that spoke of a childhood far different from his own. He shifted slightly, feeling the unfamiliar weight and dimensions of his new body. Everything felt different, smaller, weaker. He looked down at his hands and saw pudgy, childlike fingers instead of the calloused, deadly hands he was used to. Panic surged through him, a primal response to the sudden, inexplicable change. His heart raced, and for a brief moment he felt trapped within this frail body. But Kaizen had been trained to control his emotions, to remain calm in the face of chaos. He closed his eyes, taking slow, deep breaths. Each inhalation brought clarity, each exhalation dispelled the panic. He focused on the present, grounding himself in the here and now. This was a new chance, a new life, and he needed to understand it fully. Opening his eyes again, Kaizen examined the room with a more analytical gaze. The ceiling beams were sturdy, the walls well constructed, details he noted out of habit. He listened carefully, hearing the distant sounds of children playing, birds chirping, and the muffled chatter of caretakers. These sounds were unfamiliar but not unwelcome. They hinted at a life of community and peace, so different from his solitary, violent past. Kaizen rose from the futon, his movements slow and deliberate as he adjusted to his smaller frame. He walked to the window, pushing the curtain aside to look outside. A village stretched out before him, a vibrant community filled with life. Children ran through the streets, their laughter echoing in the morning air. Adults moved with purpose, attending to their daily tasks. Shinobi, identifiable by their headbands, leapt across rooftops, their movements fluid and precise. This place seems so primitive. And what is with those people being able to effortlessly jump rooftop to rooftop? I considered myself at the very limit of human capabilities, and even I struggled to clear such gaps without significant effort. No, that can't be right. I recognize their uniforms now. They look to be the same as the Shinobi uniforms in that Naruto manga. If that's the case, then I have a lot more questions now. How would this even be possible? Kaizen's mind began to work in overdrive, contemplating the reasons or possibilities available to explain why he was here or what he was seeing before him. Although initially shocked, Kaizen's training kicked in like an automated program scheduled to run on a fast-paced supercomputer. The world of Naruto being his current location was particularly perplexing to him, though. He read through the manga and its associated works in his previous life just to kill time and possibly gain inspiration for any new techniques or methods. Sometimes, reading fictional works would be able to give him new ideas for approaches or methods of carrying out his missions. He would test any ideas he gained extensively through training and mission simulations, with a minuscule amount of them proving to be viable and even fewer being incorporated into his methods. However, as an assassin, he always sought the slightest advantage he could gain. Sometimes, inspiration can be found in even the most mundane of activities. Getting back to his current situation, this world was different from anything he had known in real life, yet it held promise. Kaizen's sharp mind began to formulate a plan. He needed to learn about this village, its people, and the skills unique to this world. He needed to adapt and grow, to turn this new life into an opportunity. Even if this is the Naruto world as I guessed, I will still need to proceed with caution to ensure that it is the one I remember from the story. After all, if I am to accept the fact that I have come back to life in this new world, then I should brace myself for any number of future possibilities. Turning back to the room, Kaizen approached a small table. The folded piece of paper caught his eye. He picked it up and unfolded it carefully. The note was written in neat, flowing handwriting. Welcome, Kaizen. You are safe here. This is your new home. The message was simple, yet it filled him with a strange sense of hope. Who was this written by? A caretaker, or something else? Deciding not to take any chances, Kaizen ripped the note into countless pieces, ensuring the contents would be illegible for anyone who might discover it later. He then walked to the chest, opening it to find a few sets of clothes neatly folded inside. He chose a simple outfit, a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and dressed quickly. The clothes were soft and clean, a far cry from the rugged gear of his past life. With one last glance around the room, Kaizen opened the door and stepped into the hallway. The day was just beginning, and so was his journey in this new world. Stepping out of his room, he briefly surveyed his immediate surroundings. This must be an orphanage, then. That's a good thing, too. A family might have complicated things for me going forward. Although that does beg the question, how is my presence interpreted in this place? Am I really known as Kaizen like in my previous life, or was that a sole exception with that mysterious note? Thinking he had some investigating to do, Kaizen moved towards the window at the end of the hallway. Each step was cautious, measured, as he adjusted to his smaller, weaker body. The hallway was filled with the faint sounds of morning activity, the muffled laughter of children, the soft hum of conversations, the occasional creak of floorboards. The air was filled with the scent of breakfast cooking, a pleasant mix of rice, miso soup, and grilled fish. Reaching the window, Kaizen peered outside. The supposed hidden leaf village bustled with life, a vibrant tapestry of activity. He saw children playing in the streets, their laughter ringing clear and bright. Adults walked with purpose, heading to their daily tasks, while shopkeepers opened their stalls, greeting early customers with friendly smiles. Shinobi, identifiable by their headbands, carried out their activities with an effortless grace. It was a far cry from the world of shadows and silent kills he had known. Here, life seemed rich, full of warmth and community. Kaizen's mind quickly shifted gears, recognizing the need to understand this new world. He turned back to his immediate surroundings, the hallway of the orphanage, and continued his exploration. The walls were adorned with simple decorations, drawings by the children, colorful paper crafts, and motivational posters. Everything was designed to create a sense of comfort and belonging, a stark contrast to the cold, sterile environments he had known. He found a small bathroom and stepped inside, closing the door behind him. The bathroom was modest, with a single sink, a toilet, and a mirror hanging above the sink. He approached the mirror, his eyes scanning the reflection. Staring back at him was the face of a 4-year-old boy with dark, inky black hair and deep blue eyes. His sharp features, now softened by youth, still carried an intensity that belied his age. Accepting his new appearance, he ran a hand through his tousled hair and adjusted his clothes, noting how they fit comfortably, unlike the restrictive gear he once wore. Kaizen turned on the faucet, letting the cool water run over his hands. The sensation grounded him, reminding him of the reality of his situation. This did not appear to be a dream or an illusion. He had truly been reborn, and this body, this face, was his new reality. With this in mind, Kaizen left the bathroom to continue exploring. The orphanage was a modest building, clean and well-maintained. The floors were polished wood, and the walls were painted in soft, calming colors. As Kaizen walked through the halls, he observed the other children playing and talking. They seemed happy, their faces alight with joy and innocence, completely oblivious to the harsh realities he had known. They ran, laughed, and played without a care in the world, their games simple yet filled with pure delight. The caretakers moved about with gentle efficiency, tending to the children with kind smiles and soft words. They wore simple, practical clothing and carried an air of calm authority. Kaizen noted their routines, how they managed mealtimes, supervised play, and handled conflicts with patience and understanding. Each caretaker had a distinct role, and they performed their duties with a seamless coordination that spoke of long practice and genuine care. Kaizen's training was second nature, and even in this innocent setting, he couldn't help but analyze and prepare. He noted the exits and potential hiding places, mentally mapping the layout of the orphanage. The large common room with its low tables and cushions, the dining area with rows of small chairs and tables, the playroom filled with toys and books. Each space was catalogued and assessed. Children ran past him, their laughter infectious as they chased each other in a game of tag. Kaizen watched them closely, silently assessing their movements and behaviors. The carefree nature of their interactions was both foreign and fascinating to him. He could see genuine friendships, the simple joys of childhood that he had never experienced. As he continued to explore the orphanage, each step was a blend of curiosity and caution. He found the garden, a small, enclosed space filled with blooming flowers and a few fruit trees. The sight of the vibrant colors and the scent of fresh blooms brought a rare moment of tranquility to his mind. This place, so different from the harsh environments he had known, offered a strange comfort. Kaizen stepped into the courtyard, his eyes scanning the open space where children were engaged in a lively game of tag. The courtyard was surrounded by the orphanage's walls, with patches of grass and a few trees providing shade. The sun was high, casting a warm, golden light over the scene. Laughter filled the air as children dashed around, their faces alight with joy and excitement. Kaizen watched from a distance, evaluating their movements with a keen eye. His mind automatically analyzed their play, noting the speed and agility of each child, the patterns of their movements, and their interactions. Most of the children were carefree, their actions spontaneous and uncoordinated, but one boy stood out. "Oh? I recognize that one from the story. According to my memory, he should be a lot older. Ah, so that means I was born before the start of the official manga. That opens some options then." As Kaizen began to formulate a plan based on the new information he gained, he continued to observe, seeking to understand the capabilities of those around him. With a shock of silver hair and a calm, composed demeanor, the boy moved with a grace that belied his age. His eyes, dark and sharp, missed nothing as he darted and weaved effortlessly through the other children. There was an air of quiet confidence about him, a self-assuredness that set him apart. Kaizen's interest was piqued. Indeed, this boy was Kakashi Hatake, and even at this young age, he exuded an aura of competence and control. Deciding that he had enough information, Kaizen decided to approach. He needed to test his new body's capabilities to see what kind of training regimen he would need to construct. Also, he was interested to see how he measured up against the genius known as Kakashi.